Hey everyone, Timbermaster here, and in today's video we're going to be going over how to design a weight loss program, because if you are one of the very few people who actually does this, well, you're going to succeed. Now for your plan and your program, we're going to go over some key fundamentals like establishing your baseline measurements, goal setting. We're going to go over creating an identity shift, how to change your environment around you. And then we're also going to go over some of the inner workings of a 4 to 6 week plan and calendar. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a template calendar that you can use for yourself so you can create your own 4 to 6 week plan and program so you can stay on track and see the success that you want to see. So to kick things off, we're going to establish your baseline measurements first, and this is really important so we can make future comparisons. And because we'll have this information and be periodically measuring throughout the entire program, this is going to be really great so we can potentially reassess and recalibrate if needed. Also, at the end of the program, when you do hit your goals and you do see that success, well, it'll be really cool to take a look back, look at the journey, reflect on everything that happened, and you will be really, really proud. Now, when it comes to the specific type of measurements that you can do, there's obviously your weight. That's going to be the most important for most people. You can do circumference measurements as well, and typically I just recommend doing your chest, your waist, and your hips. And then lastly, if you want to do body fat measurements, you can do that too. If you have a body fat analyzer, they're not always 100% accurate, but it's just kind of another interesting data point that you can look at and monitor throughout your entire program. And when it comes to how often we should be measuring ourselves, well, we can do our weigh-ins on a weekly basis, and then we can check our body fat and circumference measurements every 3 to 4 weeks. And this should be more than enough information for us to look at and use if we do need to make any course corrections or reassess the program in any way. So now that we've determined our baseline measurements, we can use them to help identify what our goals are going to be. Now, when it comes to goal setting, I think it's really important to not just have a measurable goal like weight, but I think it's really important to also have an emotional goal that you associate with that measurable goal. But before we get into that, let's talk about that measurable goal first. So this is something that we need to be able to keep track of on paper, and this is why we did your baseline measurements to begin with. Now, I personally like to keep these really simple, so if you can just stick to 1, maybe 2 at the most, then this is going to be ideal. We don't want to pick 3, 4, 5, or 6 different types of goals that we want to accomplish, because then we're going to be spreading ourselves too thin, and the likelihood of achieving all 5 to 6 of those goals is not going to be very high. And the second part of this is that because our goals are measurable, we can create a timeline and have an end date for our goal. And what we want to do here is we want to make sure that our timeline is reasonable, but it can be challenging at the same time as well. Now, here's an example of a bad goal. I want to lose 25 pounds in 2 weeks. Now, here's an example of a good goal. I want to lose 25 pounds in 3 months and lose 4 inches off my waist. So remember, try to just have 1, maybe 2 goals. If you do have 2 goals, make them congruent and so they build on top of each other. And then with your timeline, make sure it's relatively reasonable, but it can also be challenging as well. And this can help you stay on track and stay focused. So what I'm going to talk about next is so much more important than your measurable goal, and that's your emotional goal and understanding what your why is. Why are you looking to lose weight? So with this, we need to get a little introspective here. So why are we doing this? How is this going to change my life? What is going to happen if I succeed? What's going to happen if I don't succeed? So we just need to keep asking ourselves, why do we want to do this? Why do we want to accomplish this? And to be honest, most of the time we want to lose weight or we want to change our body because we want to feel more confident, we want to be happy, and we just want to feel better about ourselves. So what is your why? Why is this so important to you? Why do you want this so badly? As long as this is important to you and you feel that it will 100% change your life and make things better for you, then that's great. And remember, it's okay to feel some emotion here. That's the point. We're using this as motivation and inspiration so you can be successful. So here's a pro tip here. What you can do is you can write down your why on a very small piece of paper, keep it with you at all times. Something that I do is I write my goals and my why on a small piece of paper, and I will actually slide it in between my phone and my phone case just to keep it with me all the time. So if we want to change physically, we're going to have to make some changes on the inside as well. We're going to have to create an identity shift. And how do we do this? Well, we have to start adopting the beliefs of the person that we want to become. Seriously, believe that you're already that person. Imagine that you've already accomplished your goals. And ask yourself some of these questions right here. What does future me believe in? What does future me think? How does future me approach nutrition? How does future me approach exercise and fitness? And most importantly, what are the changes that future me made that allowed me to become successful and see this incredible transformation? And another thing, don't say things like I shouldn't or I'm trying to. You have to say things that are much more powerful, that actually create an identity shift. So for example, if not drinking alcohol is a part of my weight loss program and I go out to dinner with a friend who wants to drink, I shouldn't say, I'm trying to lose weight, so I don't really think I should be drinking right now. What you really need to say is, look, I am losing weight right now. It's really important to me. I'm not drinking. I don't drink anymore because I know that alcohol is not going to help me in the long run. Or you could just say, yeah, I'm not drinking anymore. Now, this is literally putting the cart before the horse, and it'll actually work in this case. So your future you already knows what to do to lose weight, and they've already created that identity shift to get there. So start your identity shift right now. I know it probably sounds a little silly, but it's going to help you out a ton. So now that we've established your goal, we understand what your why is, and we have started to create that identity shift, what we can now do is look at your overall goal and start to break that down into chunks. And these chunks should be broken down further into about 4 to 6 week periods. And with these short-term goals, it's gonna allow you to stay on track, stay focused, and it's gonna be a little bit less daunting too, because you're not gonna be looking at that overall goal and that overall timeline. So let's say you wanna lose 25 pounds in 3 months. So if we're gonna be chunking and breaking this down further, then we can just say that in month 1, we want to lose 9 pounds. Month 2, we want to lose 8 pounds. And month 3, we want to lose the last 8 pounds. Now to me, that sounds a lot more manageable and a little bit less scary than just saying, I want to lose 25 pounds in 3 months. So now that we have an idea of how much weight we want to lose each month, what we can do now is start picking areas that we want to focus on that are going to help us with that weight loss goal. Now what we want to do is pick 4 to 5 action items that we think are going to help us with our weight loss goals. And if we choose more than this, it could be a little bit overwhelming unless you are highly, highly motivated. So if I'm looking to lose 25 pounds overall in my first month, I want to lose 9 pounds. Maybe the first 4 areas that I want to focus on are, I want to start an intermittent fasting program. I want to really heavily reduce my carbohydrate consumption to less than 50 grams per day. I want to start sleeping more, about 7+ hours a night. And then I want to exercise 3 times a week for about 30 to 40 minutes each workout. Now, first, what we need to do is ask ourselves, can I do these 4 things consistently over the next 4 weeks? Are these the lowest hanging fruit that I can actually pick? And if this is a little too ambitious, it's okay to make a change and try something a little bit easier. And remember too, that these can always be reevaluated as you're going through the program each month. So if you feel like you're consistently not doing one of the 4 action items, then maybe you swap it out for something that's a little bit easier, or you can even just toss it out completely and only do 3. And before you say, hey Tim, doing 3 action items is not going to be enough to lose 9 pounds in 1 month, my rebuttal to that is giving up entirely is going to be way worse than just chucking out one of the action items completely. So pick your 4 to 5 action items, make sure that you are choosing the most impactful but also easiest ones that you can think of. So now that we know what our 4 to 5 different action items are, we can start to create that 4 to 6 week calendar. Okay, so here's an example of a calendar that I made that is in line with that overall 25-pound weight loss goal, but that first month is going to be a goal of 9 pounds. Okay, jumping into the calendar. So at the top we have week 1, phase 1, and phase 1 is just going to be our first month of our 3-month long program. In the bottom left corner we have our phase 1 goals, and that is just to lose 9 pounds. And then we also have our action items as well. So with our action items, we're going to be doing our low carb nutrition plans of less than 50 grams of carbohydrates per day. We're going to be exercising 30 to 40 minutes 3 times a week. We're also going to intermittent fast every single day, and then we're going to try and get 7+ hours of sleep each night. Now on Sunday, this is going to be day 0 right here, and this is just going to be a measurements day. We're going to get our weight check in, we're going to do our body fat measurements if that's something that you want to do. Same with circumference measurements. If you want to do your circumference measurements, you can do your chest, your waist, your hips. And then by day 0, we should understand what our goals are already, and we should understand what our why is. And now with each and every day next to the action item, we have a little checkbox here next to every single one. And this is so you can take a look back at the previous day. So if I'm on day 2 on Tuesday, and I look back at day 1, did I do my low carb nutrition plan? Yes, check. Did I do my exercise? Check. Did I do my intermittent fasting? Check. And then check next to 7 hours of sleep. And then what we can do as we go through the week and as we go through the program, we can take a look back and see what check boxes we hit, what check boxes we missed, see where we're consistent, and see what challenges we have been experiencing throughout. And this is where we can use our little small note section in the bottom right hand corner, and we can then take some notes on what those challenges are, or if, for example, we decided that we couldn't exercise on Wednesday, but we just shifted it over to Thursday, we could keep that in our notes. So another thing, with the way that I structured the exercise and the rest days, I just did an alternating schedule on the weekdays. So exercise on day 1, day 3, and day 5, and then we're resting on day 2, 4. And then on day 6, so on the weekend days, instead of doing rest, if you want to rest, you can rest. If you had a busy week, that's totally fine. But go out for a walk, get some sun, get some fresh air, go be active. You're going to have a little bit more time on the weekends. And if we look at week 2, now our measurements remember, we're only going to be doing our weight check for essentially the remainder of the month, except for the beginning of our phase 2 program. But each and every week moving forward, week 2, week 3, week 4, they are essentially just all going to be very, very similar. And once we get to week 5, we are going to be starting phase 2 officially. Now with phase 2 though, this is going to be our more robust measurements day. So we're doing our weight check, we're going to do our body fat, we're going to do our circumference measurements. And then if we take a look at the bottom left corner here, we have changed our goal. We are looking to lose 8 pounds in month 2, phase 2. We're keeping our 4 action items the same for this month. However, we're adding 4 more action items to our list. Now for month 2, I decided that I want to do the PE diet. I want to do one 24-hour fast a week. and I want to stop drinking alcohol entirely, and I don't want to have any processed foods. If you don't know what the PE diet is, check out the link in the top left corner. I made a video on the PE diet. It's one of the absolute best strategies for weight loss. Highly recommend it. Check out the video. It's really good. It'll help you lose a lot of weight if you decide to go with this program. So now our first day of phase 2 is Wednesday. So we've done all our measurements. We've gone through the entire day. And then Thursday, this is where we do our 24-hour fast. And then the rest of the week, we are just following that same intermittent fasting plan. Now, following this week 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it's going to be very similar to phase 1, month 1. Now, I've created a blank template calendar, and if you think that this is something that could be helpful for you, then go ahead and download it. This is actually, there's 2 different pages to this calendar, and I've actually even included the entire phase 1 of the program, so that first month. And then there are these additional calendar pages that you can use as your blank template. So you can fill in all the blanks, you can create your own program, and you can determine what your goal is in the bottom left, throw your action items in there, throw them in every single day of the week. And again, if this is something you think is helpful, check it out. Click the link below in the description and download the calendar. And when using the calendar, remember to use the checkboxes. They're there to help you out and there to help you identify if you are being consistent with all of your action items. And if you're not being consistent, that's okay. All you have to do is just reassess and either swap something in and out or chuck it out completely. Now, one of the last things that we need to talk about right now that's really important is creating an environment of success around you. Now, our environment can dictate our behavior. So if we are constantly surrounding ourselves with bad foods that we know are going to cause us to gain weight, or people who are going to influence us to do things that we don't want to do, then that's not going to be helpful for our long-term game plan. So some things that we can actually do to create a better environment around us is make sure that we have friends and family who support us. Maybe you can even find a partner who can do this with you, or you can join a Facebook weight loss support group, or maybe even just tossing all of the bad food out of the house is going to be the best thing for you, or avoiding certain aisles in the grocery store. And if you're able to create a better environment around you, then the likelihood of you being successful in seeing that incredible transformation is going to be extremely high. Now, here's the thing. If you're watching this video right now, you're almost there. If you use a calendar, if you use any calendar, take action and follow through, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. And it just takes a little hard work, a little grit, and a good attitude, but I believe in you. And I believe that you're gonna be able to accomplish all your goals, and I'm rooting for you every step of the way. All right, well, if you like that video and you wanna learn more about losing weight while getting healthy, then subscribe to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Like the video if you enjoyed it too. And then if you're interested in learning about one of the best strategies for losing weight, check out my video right here on the PE diet. It flat out works. All right, thanks so much for watching the video. Best of luck, and I will see you soon. And remember, one of the most important questions you can ask yourself is, what's your why?